Hi, everybody. Just wanted to send a video with a little bit more clarification for the discussion board for 3.06. So at this point, you should be or should have already submitted your questions for whichever scenario you chose. So I'm going to kind of go over the second part of what you need to do and talk a little bit about the first part too, but I'm going to show you some examples from students in the class who have also posted already, which you can obviously see on the discussion board yourself if you go there. So the first thing you were to do is pick one of these four scenarios and then just basically write 3 to 5 interview questions, and then you were going to post those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down and pick the one that has the most replies. So that's scenario D. So 5 people have posted questions for scenario D. So if I click on there, let's say Lacey, Mia Gabriella, Sophia, Andy, and Elizabeth. So they all have posted 3 to 5 questions. So that is 10 points of the 20-point assignment. So now what are they going to do for the last 10 points? So as a group, so the 5 of them, and if anyone else happens to post within D, you're going to add yourself to that group. Or if you go back and post in A, B, or C, you're going to add yourself to that group. So what you're going to do is you are going to, as a group, you have 2 options. One is to communicate through your scenario thread with each other. So for example, if Lacey sees a question from Mia Gabriella that she really likes, she is going to reply to her and be like, hey, I really like your question about are you trying to raise awareness to this rare condition? And if so, how are you raising awareness? So I could say, yeah, I really like that question. It's kind of a yes or no question at first. So maybe let's switch it around a little bit, but I think this is a question we should add to our final 10. So she's going to reply to that. And she's going to kind of carry on this conversation with her to kind of let her know, and the rest of the group know that we should maybe use that question. And then she might come down to Sophia and say, look at her and say, who and where do most of the insults come from? Um, I would say, I kind of like that question, but I like this one better. What would you like people to know your conditioned feelings are how toward or feelings toward how they treat you? Kind of like that question. That might be like a good ending question. So I might suggest that. So I'm going to reply to Sophia and let her know that. So you're communicating back and forth on this thread. So the 5 of them, or if anyone else happens to join scenario D, you're going to be talking through scenario D. So you're going to keep replying and trying to figure out what your top 10 questions are going to be. You also have the availability to communicate through the thread and pick your top 10. So you could be like, okay, I think these 2 are good. And then someone else can say, you know what, I agree. Let's have these 2. Why don't we add this one until you get to your top 10? So either Lacey, Mia Gabriella, Sophia, Andy, or Elizabeth, or whoever's adding to this group, one of them are going to be the person to write those 10 questions out. So they do not all have to write 10 questions. Only one of them has to submit those final 10 questions. And where you'll do that is you are going to reply thread, or you can reply down here too. So you're going to reply to the thread, and you're going to say 10 final questions for scenario D. And then that's where I'm going to know I need to grade that for all of this group. So if there happens to be 4 more people join this group and I have 9 people total, then that is then that is the grade that all 9 of those people will get. So right now there's only 5 people in this group. So that one post will be the same grade for all 5 of those people. So if the questions are yes or no questions, you're not going to get credit for that. So you need to make sure that the questions are appropriate. You need to make sure that the questions kind of flow in an interview pattern. So you'd want to ask good starting interview questions, and you want to wrap up with good ending interview questions. So those are things that are very important, okay? So that's one way you can do it. The other way you can get together is on Thursday of next week, which is going to be on the 5th. You are going to be able to go in and you are going to be able to go into our Class Connect, and you are going to be able to go into a breakout room and work together. So for example, if all 5 of these students come to live session next Thursday at 2:15, you're going to have the availability to work a live setting together to pull those 10 questions out. That scenario may be a little bit more easy for you than trying to do it over the discussion board. So it's totally up to you, but you have that option to come next week, and I'm gonna have 4 breakout rooms. I'm gonna have A, B, C, D. You're gonna put yourself in the right breakout room, and you're gonna work with and develop questions with whoever's in your group, okay? So that's the other way. And then in the group, someone's obviously gonna type them out, and then you are going to post them in the discussion board, and everyone gets credit for them. I will tell you, this assignment does not close until the 13th. So I'm giving groups until the 13th to work. However, I will tell you that whoever is in a group and the top 10 questions are posted in that group, anyone who joins the group after that, you are on your own for 10 questions, which means you cannot use the 10 questions that were asked. You have to develop your own. So for example, if this group decides, and there's 5 of them in there, if these 5 decide, okay, we're gonna post our questions, our top 10 questions next Thursday on the, what is that? The 5th. If they're like, we're going to post our top 10 questions on the 5th, then whoever joins the group after that date, which I'm going to be able to see when you join because it gives me a date. If you join anytime after they've posted, you are not allowed to use their top 10 questions. You have to develop your own to get credit. So I need to make that very clear, because this group is working together, and if you're not part of that collaborative grouping and you're not participating, you should not receive credit. Hopefully that makes sense to everyone. So my other advice is, so this group has 5 students in it, so this is a pretty good group already. My suggestion is, if you have not gone into any of the scenarios yet, I would possibly go into scenario A to work, B, or even C. No one has replied to C yet. B has 3 replies, and scenario 2 or A has 2 replies, which means these people that are in A probably could use a little bit more help in some questions being posted. Same with B, all right? You can join D if you would like, but there's enough people in D already that they have a good group that they can figure out their scenario, okay, or their questions. So hopefully that makes sense to everyone. But like I said, once those top 10 questions are posted, then those questions are cut off for whoever joins after that. So let's say I'm a student and I'm looking at scenario B, and Kaylee, Malia, and Zoe, they all decide on Thursday next week or on Wednesday next week. Because technically this assignment has already been due. If they decide next week on Wednesday, actually, I'm going to ask you guys to not submit your final questions until Thursday next week. So Thursday after live session is when I would like for you to submit, because it's going to be a good cutoff point since everyone's watching the video. So it's going to give people time to get in, write their questions, and participate. So if the 3 of them decide to submit at let's say if they decide to submit at 3 o'clock next Thursday, and I come in at 3:05 and I type my questions out, I cannot participate in the second half of the assignment, which is their top 10 questions, and I have to develop my own questions for that group, and I cannot copy their questions in any way. So if they have, when did you realize you had a talent for spelling? I cannot use that question. I cannot use any of the questions that they have asked. So it's going to be difficult for you if you come in late. So if I were you, I would make sure to pop in right when you need to pop in and make sure that you're in here sometime either this week or next week before Thursday, and then participate in the top 10 questions. Okay, so hopefully that clarifies for you what the expectation is for this assignment. I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but I wanted to make sure everyone had a great understanding of exactly what you should be doing for this assignment and what you should not be doing. So if you have questions, please email me and ask. That's the best way to get help. And I will see you guys next Thursday.